We're recording. Ion, are you ready for some more juicy bits?
I'm always ready for your juicy bits.
Yay!
Canadian politics is boring, juicy bits.
Canadian politics is boring, juicy bits.
First of all, an apology. There hasn't been a normal episode this week. Instead, you're just getting this shitty juicy bit.
It's a shitty juicy bits time. Well, that's because Rhys was running away from wildfires,
Yay!
and he was exhausting. He kept telling me that he was exhausted, and I don't know
I'm still exhausted.
why you were so exhausted. You never said why. I can only assume it's because you had to spend so much time with your family, which you don't normally do.
Well, I do. I spend as much time with my family as I can. But I tell you what
spend
it
as much
was.
time with your family as you're capable of.
No, but what it was is that for most of the week last week, we were wondering whether the wind would change direction and burn our house down. And we had to live with that pressure
That is stressful.
for a week.
I'll give you that.
So
Yeah, that sounds stressful. I have the microphone to my side, so it sounds much better if I turn my head to the right. But
just some skilled audio notes. So,
Yeah.
it's okay. So no, it was 151 people have lost their homes in my
Oh my
kind of
God, that's horrible.
neighboring communities and everything.
Jesus.
Nobody died though. Some pets didn't make it, I think, as I mentioned before.
I'm gonna
But
turn you up. Don't move. Don't move.
where's he going? Jesse's just going out of his poorly designed booth, where if he wants to make any adjustments, he has to leave and then come back in again.
Well, shut up.
Do you notice how simple my design is?
Yeah, it's also ugly. Mine has this beautiful sound blanket behind me, as you can see. And I've got
some kind of
chocolate
brown
milk sugar-free gum in the background to chew
and some
on.
kind of brown stained blanket as well on the other side.
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
so behind me, can you see this behind me?
I can't see a thing.
Oh,
My computer makes a
well,
lot of. My computer's from 2009, and it's got
Oh.
a really loud fan, and so I keep it out of this tiny little sound booth.
so behind me.
I
are
can
some-
leave again and go take a look. Here, hold on.
Yeah, look, I'm going to do this with my thumb so you can see. Sorry, listener. Yeah, you can see it. So I'm surrounded by essentially photo albums and memory boxes that I'm not keeping at my house until all wildfires are extinguished. All the photo albums, kids'
Smart.
baby books, all that kind of stuff,
a
currently
good idea.
stored.
Yeah.
Because we could have lost it all, which is quite, So I'm still in here with it all. Look at this. This is lovely. Disney 2020 photo album. So-
It's very sweet of you, though. I have to say, that's very sweet of you. I like that.
What, saving all the memories?
Yeah, but like going out of your way for that. Hold on, I'm adjusting your volume again.
Sorry, listeners. I'm Rhys. This is Jesse. If you've never listened to the show before, I'm very sorry.
Hi, I'm Jesse. This is Rhys. This is Canadian Politics is Boring. Rhys is a Welsh immigrant who teaches Canadian politics and history to me, a guy who really genuinely doesn't give a shit even 3 years later. That's what makes the show funny, I guess. So that's what you're getting into. This is a Juicy Bits, something where we just talk about a topical thing that just happened. Sorry for telling you that 20 minutes into this episode, but there you go. If you're still listening, wow. All right. So
And this isn't like overtly political. Wildfires and fleeing wildfires.
not
aren't.
even a
But-
little bit political.
But I've learned some cool stuff. So somebody said that the Northwest Territories a few years ago were trying to sell 4 water bombers and nobody would buy them. And now no one can get their hands on water bombers because everyone's on fire and they all want one.
Oh my God.
Which was
So did the
poor
Northwest
planning.
Territories no longer they didn't sell them? You said did they? No
hopefully like when you have like a listed on eBay and no one's interested, you just put it on a shelf. Northwest Territories now.
So
like,
now
we've got all the water
you're-
bombers.
Yeah. Now you're interested.
I guess the price may have
see.
gone up. There's been inflation, so they just keep it for themselves. And then also
100%. What?
exactly. So as well, the other thing that I realized was, and a bunch of people in our neighborhood, is that the part of the neighborhood we're in is essentially a future wildfire death trap because there's only one entrance and one exit. So
Oh,
if the
wow.
wildfire is at the one end of the neighborhood, then there's no way to escape unless it's on foot, and you'd have to hike for hours through forest to
No,
get.
you mean if the wildfire is on both ends of like the Didn't you say there
No,
was?
there's only one exit
There's only one entrance and exit.
to the whole neighborhood where we are. Yeah.
Seriously?
So there's thousands of people in the nestled in the forest in their homes with only like one or two entrance points.
That is a poorly designed neighborhood, Rhys.
Well, I mean, before it was just annoying on a basis of traffic, but now wildfires are a thing. So I did this big post on the residents group, tagged all the local elected representatives. A lot of people commented, like about 50 people for this closed
Right.
group. It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
No politicians responded to say.
Of course not. Why? What are they going to do?
And I was basically just going, can we just even if it's just a dirt road we're not allowed to use that is only there in case everything's on fire, can we just come in? And no response, even though it was a very simple solution. That
You know how you get them to do that, to make a road, is to build your own road illegally. This happened in Toronto where
you just do it.
Yeah, no, there's a park and there was a very steep sort of hill down to another part of the park, and all the community members wanted a stairway, and the politicians involved in that area, they're like, oh yeah, eventually we'll get to it, and years went by and nothing happened. And so one dude just went and built himself a stairway. He was a carpenter, he had the extra stuff, he had the extra time, he just did it. He just built a stairway. And the city was like, that's illegal. You can't do that. This has not been sanctioned officially by the government. It hasn't been blah, 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 blah. So the city immediately went and tore it down and then built their own. That's
So what you're saying is that if I just go and just with a chainsaw just start felling trees
yeah.
and putting gravel down.
I think this is a great idea. I'll
They'll
support
then-
you. I'll come do it. with
Yeah,
you.
it's going to take me months on my own.
Sure, what else you got going on? It's not like you're busy.
No. Actually, I could if I buy more chainsaws and give them to my kids, and then they
Right?
can help me.
This is why you have children. I'm so thankful you're finally
That's
catching
that's
on
why
to
they
this.
used to have children in the past when you needed
That's
laborers
why you have
on your
so
farm.
many children, because chainsaws are dangerous.
But the other thing that's happening now is that conspiracy theories are starting about the wildfires.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, bring them. Let's hear this.
No. But this ties into so the freedom lobby, the kind of the people who would have been protesting during COVID about their right to be infected and to die without
Yeah,
any
right.
kind of treatment
Sure.
or protection.
Yeah, of course.
So this person who I called Chad, I won't say their last name for I don't know why reasons. This person called Chad basically was
You don't want to give them the satisfaction.
no.
of being,
So
broadcast. Yeah.
sorry if you're called Chad and you're nice, but this Chad
Nice
is such
chat, yeah.
you're nice Chad. Sorry if you're a nice Chad, but they brought in a no outdoor fire ban, $25,000 fine.
I didn't know about that. That's crazy. But
So-
it's understandable also.
A lot of extreme freedom people, and also no hiking in the forest because if it catches on fire, they're gonna have to rescue you, endangering the rescuers' lives. So they were saying. So a lot of people are going. The government's taking away our right to fish and hunt
I can
and to
understand
have campfires.
I can understand the fines for campfires. I don't think I would fight any fines for me hiking, because if I hiked and I got in shit, that's on me.
Yeah,
know,
but it's not though
No-
because
nobody has to come and rescue me.
I'd like
You
you,
know
to
what I
find a firefighter who'd go, yeah, all right, I won't bother. Like they are trained and they have like almost like a sworn oath to rescue anyone they can.
I suppose.
So
I don't know.
regardless of
I
how much
still
of
think-
regardless of how much of an idiot you are, they'll still try and rescue you.
I guess. I just think that's. I don't know. I think that one's in a gray area. The starting a fire though, I 100% agree with that one.
So this person was basically lighting fires, and this is what they said: "Watch the heat pour in now, man. I'm such a bad person for having a fire tonight in Nova Scotia. I probably killed 1,000 more people with this contained fire that's gone absolutely nowhere, or at least that's how I'm spoken to when I tell people to fuck off, and I'm gonna live my life my way. Go suck a dick, Karen. This is what I think of a bunch of self-righteous idiots telling me how to live their life."
Wow, these
With a-
fuckers.
With a picture of a fire pit.
Like a fire pit in his backyard. sort of
Fuck
thing?
you, world. I'm gonna have marshmallows. It's like,
Hold on, was this in his backyard or was this out?
yeah, just his backyard, I think. But still, you would not. The reason is because fires were breaking out all over the place, and they were stretched to their limit. So it was just like, hey, no fires for a while we fight these big fires. Because if you
Right,
start
because if
another
all the
big
firefighters in the city are outside of the city fighting forest fires, then any little fire in the city you're fucked.
There's not an infinite amount of trucks and firefighters.
Wouldn't that be terrifying?
The fact they're bringing resources in from like Montana and everywhere
An
shows.
infinite amount of firefighters. Or which reminds me of a joke my father used to say. You know the organization Ducks Unlimited? Can you imagine how terrifying that would be if they got their wish? Right?
But amazingly, like there's like it's pretty impressive how like the fire crews have managed to get hold on this, especially given the fact they obviously didn't have enough resources because they had to bring so much in from everywhere else. So
right,
we've got to say, yay, well done, fire crew people. You did an awesome job, and they looked exhausted.
And they're not going to stop either, from what I've heard. Even though we've got a week of rain in Nova Scotia, and it's raining right now as the time we're recording this.
It's a hell of a lot of rain.
It's a hell of a lot of rain. Apparently, it's going to take another 5 months to put out the forest fires, or at least the Sherborne. Sherborne? I don't know how to pronounce that. And it's near me. Sherborne forest fire. 5 months. That's how insane is that?
Well, the other thing that nearly happened was there's a dairy there was a fire around the dairy in Bedford, and they had tanks full of ammonia. And apparently,
no, I was on a date and with someone from Bedford, okay, and we're playing a board game, and she gets an alert. We all get an alert, which is kind of cool because like there's music playing, everyone's playing board games, like in the boardroom.
I'm sorry that this disaster ruined your date.
No, it didn't ruin it at all. It enhanced it, if anything.
Okay.
But like it's just kind of fun, like the board room game cafe, whatever the fuck it's called. It's a big place where everyone can play board games and drink beer, and like everyone's playing games, and then suddenly, and everything stops in the whole cafe, and everyone takes out their phone at the exact same time, which I think that's kind of cool. I like that. But yeah, she was sitting there. We're just like, it's a first date, and we're like, do you need to go home? Because the fires are getting closer to Bedford. She's like, yeah, that's what this says. Hold on. What the fuck is an ammonia leak? And it's just...
Well, I immediately Googled it. They said ammonia tanks and fire, and it creates like a toxic gas.
Oh my God.
It's almost like World War I kind of, mustard gas where
Jesus.
It causes like, you start to bleed and everything. And it's like, so the worst case scenario could have been like almost this sci-fi toxic cloud going over the wind was blowing in the direction of Halifax as well. So
holy shit.
It could have been an ammonia cloud there to kind of like ruin everyone's day and kill even more, or kill people.
Glad we got that under control. Jesus.
So meanwhile, Chad with his s'mores is sticking a finger up at Trudeau. So
thanks, Trudeau.
That stupid, sexy Trudeau.
Stupid, sexy Trudeau. Which, by the way, we have T-shirts for if you want to buy.
I've ordered some stickers. So the next time I see a big truck with flags and the fuck Trudeau, I'm gonna quietly slap on a stupid, sexy Trudeau on the back.
Excellent.
Just to subtly shift the tone.
Stupid, sexy Trudeau.
So anyway, there's conspiracies saying that, and a lot of the conspiracies are around the fact that it's more to do with government ineptitude than it is to do with like anything else. It was just a fire.
It's government ineptitude. The reason we have these forest fires, not global warming, not idiots like Chad. That's okay. I got you. Right. Yeah, it's Trudeau. Trudeau went and set the fires himself.
He did.
Totally. And then he went and roasted a baby on them and ate it.
Exactly. That's just the kind of thing. That's what a tyrant does, and that's what he is. So,
yep. Baby eating tyrant.
Exactly. And it's why he still hasn't aged a day in the last 15 years.
Because of all those babies. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Stupid,
he absorbs
Trudeau.
He absorbs
them.
Absorbs their power. So. So yeah. So sorry, we will be back. Normal broadcasting will resume afterwards.
Cares, man. I don't think anybody cares.
I hope so. I hope somebody's listening because I'm having fun.
Oh, so. People listen. They listen to the juicy bits just as much as they listen to our regular. I don't think they care as long as they get to hear the sultry sounds of our voices.
Sultry sounds of our voices.
Right?
The weird things that like going back home was weird because there was a faint smell of smoke in the house. But largely everything was fine. And the weird thing was, the only thing I noticed, because this is suburbia where we live, is that everyone needed to cut their lawn. Everyone's lawn was overgrown.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
And like I'd say 90% take their lawn very seriously. Mine's covered in dog shit, but they take theirs very seriously. So,
Yeah,
and I was
fuck that
like,
lawn.
they haven't mowed. Nobody's mowed. This isn't right. It's like it's like a scene from The Last of Us with that 3-inch lawn grass. So it's like
Which scene? What?
just there's lots of grass and overgrown cities.
I suppose any apocalyptic movie, sure.
Yeah.
that would have very large grass.
Linda and Dave never have dandelions. So, like,
Well, I'm glad you're back home and that everybody's safe. Nobody died, and that your house is still intact. That's
the best part is
yeah.
that my street was in the evacuation zone, but they drew the map incorrectly.
Oh,
So now that the government's offered everyone $500 as like instant relief to cover hotels and meals and everything for staying out, which barely covers.
okay. What, a day, 2? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. It covers you like maybe 2 meals, one with a
Right.
family of 6. So, but because they drew the map poorly, they didn't finish drawing the map around the whole of my street. So it literally just the beginning of my street has it falls in the evacuation zone. And even though the rest of the people on the street needed to go through the evacuation zone to evacuate, there was no way of them leaving without going through the evacuation zone. They were therefore clearly in the evacuation zone. But this map that the Red Cross had been given by the government means that most of the people on my street are being turned down for getting their $500 relief money because someone drew a map wrong. So
that's infuriating.
um
Wow.
but my house is literally the last house on the street. We're right on the line of the poorly drawn Microsoft Paint map. so
I bet you it is Microsoft Paint too. I bet you. This is the government.
if we're
talking
lucky.
about. Yeah,
If we're lucky. So they're not even using the free version of Canva. It's ridiculous. So
that would mean they'd have to discover the internet, Rhys. Come on
Yeah.
now.
But if this was only one thing, all of the support and help I had during the hurricane when I didn't have power for 8 days, and all of the support and everything I've had in the last week has all entirely come from friends and neighbors.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, that doesn't count the firefighting crews because obviously that was a whole other thing. But in terms of like evacuees,
is the moral of the story here? Don't be an asshole.
no, I think the moral of the story is that like it makes me realize how much of a vacuum there is in terms of actual stuff going on, which is why you're right. I should just go and cut if I wait for the politicians to cut an escape route so we don't all live in a tinderbox death trap of a neighborhood.
You really should.
Then
Honest to God.
that's the only way it's going to happen. We're just going to, I know some of my neighbors have got excavators. So we could I think if we all teamed up one weekend, we could just cut a road through.
Well, what'll happen is they'll stop you and then they'll build it themselves, which is what you want them to do. But the only way to get them to do it is to start it yourself. Honest to God, this is how inefficient our government is.
If any listeners have got dynamite, I'll just throw a stick of dynamite every day and it'll just gradually get closer and closer.
This is a great idea. And in no way will start another forest fire.
No, exactly. No. So
Well,
yeah,
thanks for the update, Rhys. I'm glad you and your family are okay and that you got a whopping $500 from the government for staying
I'm still
at
waiting
your
for it.
friend's cottage and lounging around watching Netflix. That's you poor man. Yeah.
I didn't watch Netflix once.
No? Oh.
No,
What'd you
I was
do?
too busy just sat there doom scrolling.
Oh, well, that's your fault.
But we did go for a walk on the beach. That was quite nice.
All right, that's enough. Get the fuck out of here. We'll see you guys next week, unless there's another juicy bits this week, and then you know how it rolls.
Bye,
Thanks so
everyone.
much for sticking us in your ear holes. I'm Jesse. This is Rhys. We'll be back real soon.
Oh, wait. One last thing.
One more. Okay.
If we have a new line of merchandise out, I'm baking a deef.
I'm baking a deef,
I'm baking a deef. Hang on,
which
I've
is a
got-
reference to a previous episode, I believe. Diefenbaker forgot his wife.
Yeah, so
episode? Yeah.
the tagline is "Let the world know you've got a poop load in using Canada's 13th Prime Minister," and it just says I'm baking. Hang on, if people might be able to see this if they're on YouTube. If not, you got to go to our website. Yeah, I'm baking a deef. So yeah,
It's a new phrase. We're trying to get it out there.
I tried to make the word deef look like poop.
Yep. Use I'm baking a deef at least once today.
Use
That's your
offer
challenge.
code I'm baking a deef for for 10% off.
Is that true? Don't tell them that. That's
No,
not true.
no, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's just a joke. Okay, here's the titles.
Canadian
Hey,
politics
dance.
is boring, juicy bits.
Canadian politics